Well, hello, my name is Juan Navarrete from grade 11D, and I'm about to present secondary memory in cycles. So let's get to it. Let's begin with the first question the Miss gave us. So it says, what if secondary memory doesn't exist? So if a secondary memory didn't exist, computer will not be able to work. The secondary memory is the one which is persistent and can hold the data after power goes off, while primary memory can hold the data until power is up. From data, I mean the operating system itself. So imagine how a computer will be functional without an operating system. And even if you manage to increase the primary memory and thinking to install the operating system over it, but then how will you do this? There must be something to start from. The bootloader section of your operating system must be present beforehand to load the other operating system components from secondary memory to primary memory, and bootloader is present secondary memory, so you need it anyhow. In another way, primary memory can be lost and all data is lost, but if you lose secondary memory, you can never return the data to you. So it's the most crucial. Here we can see some images of the secondary memory. So when someone comes and tells me that secondary memory is useless in the computer, I'm always react like, mate, check the facts, and you can see that secondary memory is the most crucial device that is needed in a computer. So the whole operating system will continue to flow and will continue to persist. It's rightfully even more important than the primary memory. Well, now we can go for the second question, which says, state some differences between primary and secondary memory. Well, first of all, memory plays a critical part in computers to store and retrieve data. If computer memory is categorized into primary and secondary memory, well, primary memory is the main memory of the computer, which is used to store data or information temporarily, whereas secondary memory refers to external storage devices that are used to store data or information permanently. In primary memory, data is directly accessed by the processing unit and it resides in the main memory until processing. Information and data are stored in the semiconductor chips, so they have a limited storage capacity. In the secondary memory, information is stored in external storage devices and they cannot be directly accessed by the processing unit. In primary memory, applications and instructions are stored in the main memory, which makes them relatively faster to access via data bus. Processor is able to retrieve data faster than it does with secondary memory, which acts more like a backup memory to store data in external storage devices. These are just some differences between both secondary and primary memory. We shall see more even later, but not as detailed. Well, here we can see a graph or a table mostly that shows primary memory versus secondary memory. So some of them is that primary memory is the main memory where the data and information is stored temporarily, and secondary memory refers to the external memory where data is stored permanently. Another difference is data is directly accessed by the processing unit in the primary memory, and in the secondary memory, data cannot be accessed directly by the processor. Well, in secondary memory, it's known as volatile memory, so data can be retained even after power failure. Whereas in the primary memory, it's a volatile memory, meaning that data cannot be retained in the case of power failure. In primary memory, the memory is stored in semiconductor chips, which are relatively expensive. Whereas in secondary memory, the memory is stored in external storage devices such as hard disks, flash drives, etc. And in primary memory, it can be categorized into cache memory and random access memory, or most commonly known as RAM. And in the secondary memory, there are permanent storage devices such as CD, DVD, HDD, floppy disk, and much more. And in primary memory, it's relatively faster than secondary memory because it's of volatile nature. But in secondary memory, they are usually lower than primary memory, but it's like a backup memory where it's never lost the data. And finally, in primary memory, it holds data or information that is currently being used by the processing unit. And Secondary memory stores substantial amount of data and information ranging from gigabytes to terabytes. Well, after seeing the questions, now we're going to talk a little bit about secondary memory. Well, secondary memory is where programs and data are kept on a long-term basis. Common secondary storage devices are the hard disk and optical disks. So the hard disk has enormous storage capacity compared to the main memory. The hard disk is usually contained inside the case of a computer. The hard disk is used for long-term storage of programs and data. Data and programs on the hard disk are organized into files. A file is a collection of data on the disk that has a name. Well, a hard disk might have a storage capacity of 500 gigabytes, room for about 5,000 to 109 characters. This is about 100 times the capacity of a main memory. A hard disk is slow compared to the main memory. If the disk were the only type of memory, the computer system would slow down to crawl. The reason for having two types of storage is the difference in speed and capacity. Large blocks of data are copied from disk to the main memory. The operation is slow, but lots of data is copied when the processor can quickly read and write small sections of data in the main memory. When it's done, a large block of data is written to the disk. Often, while processor is computing with one block of data in the main memory, the next block of data from disk is read into another section of main memory and made ready for the processor. One of the jobs of an operating system is to manage main storage and disks this way. So this is a little summary of what secondary memory consists of, and it has diskettes, floppy disk, FDD, hard disk, HD, USB, flash drive, compact disk read-only memory or CD/ROM, digital video disc, CD recordable, CDR, and CD rewritable, CDRB. Those are some examples, and this is why secondary memory is the most important, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and give a like.